Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. I hope you are staying well. And before I start my blog that I haven't done for a few weeks, mainly because one, I got knocked down with a cold. And my YouTube shows were just incessant. It was a lot. Talk about having 2-3 shows a week. Whee, my God. So here I am, finally caught up with uploading the live shows, which have turned into podcast shows. And I've had to take a breather for myself. Just recap. And give a personal perspective as per normal. Because it's not normal if Valerie doesn't give her personal perspective of the world, is it really? It's been a trying time. And let's just say we have, how many days left to 2021? Does it matter? Because in 2 days' time, it's not going to change nothing that's happened from January 2020 to date. But I guess we have to all be hopeful, don't we? We have to hold on to something. There's people who have purpose, and you need something to the discipline. You need that discipline. There's some people who don't have any discipline, but because it's been an old age century thing for people to do, which is like, yay, I'm going to change my life when 2021 kicks in, or 2019, or whenever it is. They always say new year, new beginning. So we go through the whole year doing the same old malarkey, right? When in fact, you can make a change in your life anytime. It shouldn't depend on the day of the month or the year. Now, listen, I am so guilty. I am just so guilty of it. Because put your hands up to all the women or men who've gone, I need to go on a diet. And so you do a 3-month stint or even a 2-week stint. And you go, oh, no, I so need my pizza. Oh, no, I need my crisps. Worst, me, chocolates. Now, I have to ask myself, and I don't know if anyone else out there would agree with me, is this. As you get older, the body changes. We slow down. And, I so don't want to talk about COVID, but what else is there to speak about in the times that we live in right now? Okay, so I'm only going to make this part so brief. But in the summer, when the weather was warm, we were all out there getting on the bikes, and we want to get out into the forest, or you don't live near a forest, but you go for a run in the park, and we find that we have all these different personal trainers that will come and train you in the park or in your garden. Some people don't have that facility. So getting up to do the normal walk is a chore. Some people don't have a garden. You have a balcony. And so it's that motivation to say, I really, really need to get up. And they say it's what you actually put into your body that really, really, makes your mind healthy, and makes your body healthy. The exercise is the 10%, or let me quote, 20% of everything else. Because you can have a cluttered mind, and there's no exercise in the world that's going to declutter the mind, to be fair. I'm not saying that food declutters the mind, but it does let off enzymes, endomorphins, to give clarity. So if the right food is put into your body. Now, I'm no expert. I've had to learn all over again about having good nutrition. And I've met some wonderful people on the shows that I've put through onto the live shows, just to let me know that I don't have all the answers. So where I thought, oh yeah, I know it all, I don't. And it's been a really refreshing time. Regardless, let's take away the gloom, but it has been a refreshing time learning about myself again. And I know, speaking to other people, they have been learning about themselves. Now, I'm just going to say this out there. If you have not stopped to readdress issues in your life through 2020, because I know that some people have not been at work all the time, then what have you been doing? Seriously, what have you been doing? Because if your faith in life has not been tested, then wow, you are so not from this world. You know, if you have not stopped to think about the people who have become homeless, regardless if they've been pilots and they've had money and they've had credit cards, it doesn't matter. Because when you think about it, we are all now in the same melting pot. Who would have thought that some of you would be going to Universal Credit? I mean, that is what we do here in the UK. And for everyone else around the world, whatever government funding that allows you to live, that you go with your hands begging, who would have thought that some of us, you know, would be going to go to a food bank? I don't have to tell you if I've been to a food bank or not. I just know that I give thanks every day, that I'm grateful that it's been extreme, but not extreme to go to those levels. I didn't put anything into place. It's just whatever my circumstances allowed me to be there. But I do stop in my boots and think about those who just haven't had it. The stress of weighing down having a business, and when that business you're robbing Peter to pay Paul or Susan or Janet, it's a lot. So yeah, my thought process has been so out the roof. Maybe I take on too much empathy, who knows? But we have to find a way of holding on. And if COVID hasn't hit us and we still have a life, we still have to find a way of being thoughtful, creative, hopeful, continue knowing that at some point this plague has to stop. Like Ebola, which has not gone away, but it has been, stopped to a certain degree. Just like the plague years and years and years ago, you have to have hope that we will get this right. And when I say we are all in it together. And it's no point cursing the government that you don't know what you're doing, because put yourself in their shoes. Do you know what you're doing? If you were in the government, do you think you could have done better of raising awareness? If there's a conspiracy, I don't know, and I'm not going to be the one to start doing it, because if I was start going down the road of all this conspiracy, like some people keep posting onto social media, I would go back to drinking. Yes, I am an ex-drinker, and my God, I'm so glad that I don't need to turn to alcohol to get me through the day. And this is just my personal thoughts. When I do my blogs, I don't have an agenda. I just tell you from the perspective of what I've seen. I'm not going to imagine. But I can always put a thought process, is what I say, into other people's minds, because people give me thought processes. Now, coming off that subject, when I think about the people who are at home, and even if you are at home and you have family around you, I bet sometimes you wish you could quieten the noise just to hear your own thoughts think. That silence, just for 5-10 minutes, because for the first time your house is full of noise, it's full of people, it's just full of TV, it's full of so many things that you have to try and occupy to keep yourself from not sitting down and feeling depressed or gouging yourself to bits with food. Now, I'm saying that because I'm one of them. So I'd gone from the first lockdown to exercising, pushing weights, you name it, dropping 2 stones. I'm starting to look like Power Woman. People are going, damn, you look good, girl. I'm like, yay. Then came the second part of lockdown where I thought, I can't cope. And for the faith of, and every day it's someone done. Every day. And the thing is, you know, the trauma of, or the thought process of knowing that it could be you. Whoa. Just holding on to your sanity. My sanity went through the roof. I had 3 panic attacks because I thought about it so much. And rather than deal with it right there and then, I literally got myself in such a state I thought I was having a heart attack. Trust me, I took myself to the hospital 2 or 3 times, knowing full well there's COVID in the hospital. But all I could think about was my own self-being. And I thought, damn, girl, you cannot be sitting at home being ill because your mental state has gone through the roof. So I said, sort it out. Now, you know, it's funny because my friends all tell me, God, you're such a strong woman and blah, blah, blah. You can only be as strong as you can. I don't know about being strong. I get that said to me so many times. But what is being strong? Really? I just know I get up and all I can do is, I know that I've found myself closer to Christ than I've ever been. Because if I find that if I don't pray by sometimes midday, I am so angry with myself for that day. Very rarely that I don't. But I have to have hope in something. Now, it's not for me to tell someone you have to believe in God, but you need to believe in something. Because if you don't believe in something, believe in chocolates if you want. Right? But you need to hold on to something. Because if you don't hold on to something, you are lost. So I'm not going to trivialize my God. Because if I didn't go to him and say, oh my God, thank you for waking me up this morning. And when I stand at my window, looking through the slits of my blinds, and I look at the wonderful trees and the sky, no matter if the sky is grey or if it's shining and it's just pouring with wonderfulness, to know that if I step outside my door, there's a particle of an enzyme or a dust that has a COVID-19. Oh my God, I want to breathe. And so I have to admire it from the window or the back door of my house and say, thank you, God. My heating is on 24/7, so I can burn out any COVID resins. What the hell is that all about? So what I'm saying to you is this. If we don't have the answers, you can't go. I genuinely believe I cannot blame the government, because I have to look at them as human beings like myself. And they are being thrown into a conundrum and to try and get us through this. I just can't imagine that they would say, let's ruin all these people. Let's ruin all these businesses. Let's take away everything that people have. Let's have people donating clothes to others and people with children. You know, I can't imagine that that's a conspiracy. And if it is, my God, how evil could people be thinking? That's crackers. That's crazy. Who does that? Holding on to something doesn't mean that you are losing your mind. You know, it really doesn't mean that at all. Holding on just means that you need to have faith in something. Holding on to the fact that you may get a new job. Holding on to the fact that I need to hold on to a discipline to make myself healthy. I need to have hold on to a faith to tell my body, I've got a cold and I will get over it. And this is the things I'm going to do. I'm going to be disciplined to allow my body to heal. Everyone seems to think, oh, I'm going to take a bit of ginger and lemon and honey and blah, 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 blah. And, darling, not everybody's composition of body is the same. There's people that's got underlying factors and somehow seems to skate through those dells of heaven and hell, through the COVID, and they're fine. When it's your time, it's your time. I'm sad to say. It hurts. It really hurts. And grief changes our lives. So, years ago, I know for a fact that grief changed my life dramatically when my brother died, because I've lost a partner years and years ago, and that changed me. But the enormity of losing a family member is crushing. It's crushing. And I never saw it that way until 5 years of still grieving, but it gets easier. But to know you lose your family because of a flu virus, and you didn't know they had underlying factors, is deep. It's deep. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've got to the point where you've lost a loved one and there's more people that were losing on top, and you've had to go through the stress of a funeral where it's just only X amount of people can be there, and you still have the stupid family arguments that go on top. But when the door closes, you're still left with that grieving process, regardless if you're in COVID or not. Now, again, I wasn't trying to make this morbid, but this is the sign of the times right now. This is all that's happening. And my God, and it's around the world. It's got to a point where I don't even turn on the frigging news anymore. I try not to put the news on because it's just the ticker tape just runs at the bottom. COVID, COVID, COVID. So I like the fact that I've tried to reinvent. I've never seen so many reinvention of businesses and influencers on social media in my life. It is phenomenal. And it does keep you going. But one of the reasons why I, took time, stepped back doing the blog was to catch myself and get off the social media, because sometimes you need to take yourself away from visualizations and potter around the house, whether it be taking out new clothes or decluttering, or literally looking at paperwork that you've never looked at, looking at your pension plans and looking at your certificates, if anything, God forbid, you're not leaving your family with a wealth of debt to pay, just anything, creating, doing stuff with your children. Now, I guess there's a lot of people out there on their own. Hands up, that's me. And I like to socialise. I love dancing. I love all of it. But by the second lockdown, I put on another 2 stones, and I struggled, and I continue to. And I said to my friend the other day, am I actually being vain, thinking about my body? How does my body look? Because it never bothered me before. But as I stand in the mirror and I watch my body shape changed, and I've got big bazookas, which I've never had before, and I've grown an arse that people pay money for, which you can, darling, I am happy to suction out that cellulosis and fat and give it to you, and you can pay me for it, because I have no idea what the phenomenon about a big backside is all about. I don't get it, and I'm never going to get it, and I'm not knocking anybody that wants it. But if you want, pay me, and I'll suck it out, and you can have it, and you can transform it. But mine, I don't think has any use for anyone, because after sitting on the sofa, gouging out on copious amount of white chocolate, because I don't know why I like white chocolate. Christ above. And I do not drink fizzy pop. And what did I do? I drank copious amount of Fanta orange. I don't even like oranges. But this is what COVID, this is what lockdown has made me, has created this monster of eating food. It's like I've pressed this destruct button and I've gone, I'm going to eat that because I can lose the weight if I want to. Yeah, look at me, I can do that. Guess what? I doubled the size of weight and now I'm in such a depression. I'm not depressed about COVID anymore. I'm depressed about the weight I can't take off. I'm prepared to pay any money to get that weight off. This is where my discipline failed me. The one thing I knew I had was discipline. When I knew I had to give up alcohol, I've done it. And I'm going into my third year of sobriety, right? I am still on it. And I feel proud of it. And I champion it. Why the hell can I not champion stop eating shitty food? So that's my next challenge, is to put the same thought process into, you don't smoke, why don't you smoke? You don't drink, why don't you drink? So now is to say to myself, stop eating crappy food, because you know, you've got a wardrobe of clothes you can't wear. But forget about the clothes. It's about how it's making me feel. It's about how it's actually, I don't look at myself in the mirror. I don't want to get off the sofa. I don't, in a way, and I don't know if anyone agrees with me, I'm so glad I'm locked down in my house because I don't need to go anywhere and put any clothes on. But at the same time, I do need to get up and get outside. I do need to stop wearing the same. And I get why people put the same clothes on or baggy clothes, because they're ashamed of their body. They've ashamed themselves into just not realizing how quickly sloping into that thought process of destruction. And I'm not going to use the word depression because, I'm trained as a mental health first aider. So I'm not going to use trigger words, because I think that when people start to use those trigger words, people who are looking for something to hang on to starts to apply those words to themselves. So I try not to use those words anymore. I use the word discipline. And as painful as I know that I'm going down that slippery slope, I always try to have that word discipline. Discipline. Keep disciplining yourself. You need to understand that with discipline, you will make it. Those are my trigger words. That's my trigger word. Find a trigger word that works for you. Find a word that doesn't trigger sadness. Find a word that when you say that to yourself, you go, oh God, no. Hell no. Find a trigger word that means no. And climb. Use a word. Climb is another trigger word. That's another word that I use. Because when I feel that I just want to sit on the sofa, I have to say, climb, and I take a walk to the kitchen. Or I walk to the back door, and I've got a beautiful garden, and I'm looking at my beautiful purple or lilac, lavender, garden chair that I purchased. If you listen back to one of my podcasts, it's called My Meditation Bench. And I look at it. Do you know, I've not sat on it in a whole month. Why? Why did I do that? And so it took me to go out there this morning, put on warm clothes, and I sat on it. And I listened to the outside noises. And it was beautiful. And it allowed me to collect my thoughts and able to make my podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow. And it's, as I said, it's been a while. And I love being back. I had to be triggered to come back. And one of the things that, I was writing onto my Instagram this morning. And so there's a post And it just says, as I was thinking, I thought, you're not lazy, but you are tired. Perhaps you're lacking a few meaningful goals. I'll tell you what you do. Get yourself some rest. Take a deep breath. Breathe a little. And start your dream again. If you hate writing, use your laptop, use your phone. Set a plan. Remember your strength. March on with enthusiasm and love. And I tell you what, all will be well. Try not to ingest and not digress, because there's so much to take in. Allow yourself to fall, to understand it all. Listen, no book has ever been written to say this is the way we have to be. Make your choice. Use your trigger. Think. Surround yourself with positive thoughts. Remember, other people are in the same boat. Different lifestyle, different income, but in the same boat. Become resourceful. Even if it's not monetary, just become resourceful. Make yourself feel happy. But do it. Because trust me, there's only one life to live. And with that said, I'll be back tomorrow. It's New Year's Eve, and I just want to make sure that 31st of December 2020, we all, or I, have a positive affirmation to say to the world today. This is Valerie M, or aka Maxfield, standing in my truth on the 30th of December 2020, with a smile on my face, regardless of all the death that has happened around me. I've lost 2 loved ones in a week. Stand in your truth, stand tall, and peace out.